aka Dr. Loso. And so look, I titled this info, I guess I'm saying info, but it's not in the sequential numbering scheme of the infosodes. Be prepared what you ask God for. I might need to restructure that sentence or title. But I just wanted to get on here really quick and talk about my journey as far as this whole business thing. Um, and two, I want to say too that I'm testing out streaming this live. So I see that it is streaming live on YouTube. I don't know about LinkedIn and Facebook. But yeah, so that part seemingly is working. I guess I'll start back with last Thursday. I It was a pretty rough week for me. The ending of last week, July the 11th, 2024. So I went to get my car, serviced, to get the oil changed at Toyota. And I guess I need to start this story off with I have been um unemployed. I got laid off from Discover, I think October 3rd last year, 2023. So going on 10 months now. I've been applying for jobs. I even started applying for jobs last June. I did some searching in my email for a position with a company that kept posting this freaking position that I just knew I would be a perfect candidate for. And I applied for it last June. So I knew the writing was on the wall last April for my job at Discover. So I started actively applying for jobs to try to get up out of there. Didn't work. And I guess that plays part into this bigger picture in this story that I'm talking about here and being prepared for. I started to title it "Be Careful What You Ask God For," and which I think you need to do that as well. But being prepared for what you ask God for. Um, so yeah, I like I said, I have been applying for jobs for a long time. I got laid off last October when I got my oil change last week, and the guy came back with about almost $3,000 worth of service that I need to get done with my to my car. So some stuff going on with my axle, and something was cracked. Or basically, if I don't get it fixed soon, which I will be getting it fixed this week. Big shout out to my mom. It's important to have a supportive network, family members, and friends. But yeah, I'm getting the car fixed this week. But it was crushing because I was like, shit, I don't have $3,000 essentially to get this car fixed. Because the guy asked me that I wanted to get the tires rotated, and I was like, is it included in the service? Like I bought my tires from here. Does the tire rotate is the tire rotation for free? And it wasn't free. And I was like, so no, I don't want to get my tires rotated. Just change my oil and let me go. So prior to that, the week prior to that, I had reapplied, re-downloaded the Uber driver app because I was like, well, shit, I've used all my savings, all my 401k, all my severance, unemployment has ran out. And so I'm like having to cash in on everything because I literally at this point only have enough money to pay my rent for August. And so I was like, well, I need to get some income coming in to help pay for um my bills. And I was like, let me download this Uber app. I really don't want to get back out here in these streets. And Dallas roads are crazy as hell. So I really don't want to do Uber in Dallas because just driving here is just a pain in the ass. Um, and on top of that, I was on the internet, I was on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, and I saw some video, and it's like this guy got in the Uber and he like blew the guy's head off, and I was like, well, fuck, I definitely don't want to do Uber now. Um, but anyway, I'm back at Uber. I'm gonna have to do Uber. Long story short, and so last Thursday, I'm a little down and out about that. And then later on that day, I had applied for a job like a month ago and had been interviewing with it and heard back from them that they were moving on with another candidate. And I was like, oh, I know I'm just gonna be perfect for this role. The first guy that interviewed me, the manager, he said great stuff about me, so he wanted me to meet his manager. Didn't work out. They got someone else. Um, and so that made me think, be careful what you ask God for, because I was saying to myself, man, I really don't want this job. It's paying like $65,000. That's almost half of what I was making when I was working at Discover. And my life is like my bills. I'm not trying to say my life because I really don't do much, but my bills are based around a six-figure salary or close to it. And so, and in this time is inflation, everything is freaking expensive. But I was like, it's better than nothing. So I had to take this job and pay my rent, pay my electric bill, pay my cell phone bills, and then everything else after that, I'll just have to figure it out. Um, and so I didn't get the job, but I was saying in my hearts of hearts, I really didn't want the job. And I didn't get the job because I want a remote job. I didn't want to drive to Irving and deal with the traffic and all that stuff. So I got what I asked for. Same thing when I was working at Discover. We was having all these meetings, and I told a couple of my colleagues, I was like, well, I'm just trying to figure out how to get a severance package because like I know this isn't gonna be it's not gonna last. I knew, like I said earlier, the writing was on the wall, so I would make a joke several times, a couple of times to them that I was just trying to figure out how to get severance package. I would say in my head all the time, like, God, just let me get a severance package. I just need like 3 or 4 months off of work, so I can work on my business and get it started. Lo and behold, I got all that. I got more than what I asked for. I got my severance and I got almost a year of time off of work to work on my business. So I have been working on that a lot, but um and I guess going back to something that's important to this story as well is I've always asked, I'm not gonna say always because it's like 41 years. So, but like in my late 20s, mid late 20s, I started asking God about purpose and why am I here and like why did you put me here on this earth? And it's not trying to be corny and be like that little meme or social media post that you see. It was, we would put here for a bigger purpose than just going to work and paying bills. I really do think that everyone has a skill or ability or something that they have to offer that um, someone else doesn't have, or somebody else in your area or in your experience in life or in your walk of life that doesn't have, and that you are meant to give to the world or to help people out is your contribution in the whole thing of making the world a better place than where you found it. So that was for me all about purpose and asking God for purpose. And so over the years, I started seeing these little signs and everything on social media, or I might be watching something and something that someone says on a TV show or a movie would speak to me, or a song would come on, Spotify or something, and it was like, oh, I was get these like I felt like these were ways that God was speaking to me. Um, and so things started to become more clear because I will say for me, and again, the whole part of about being careful of what you ask for is I felt like I did everything or pretty close to everything that you should do as far as being successful in corporate America. And I really just never felt like I had that success in corporate America. I got a PhD and graduated with a PhD and still was getting nothing but entry level jobs as an instructional designer, which was wild to me. Had experience working at Disney as a manager, taught at the university in Mississippi State for 3 years, on all these different committees, was in this little program preparing future faculty, all the stuff, listed on my resume. I'm publishing a textbook, co-wrote a chapter in a technology textbook, did presentations at national and international conferences. And just still to this day, it seems like anytime I apply for any job that isn't entry level, I don't get it. I can only get entry level positions. But this bothered me, as somebody with their bachelor's degree, as far as like doing all the right things that they tell you to do, as far as being successful in corporate America. I was trying to post on LinkedIn, posting articles and stuff way back when LinkedIn wasn't even like that popular. I think back in 2007 and 8, 9, around that time frame, and it was just not working out. And what I realized when I started writing my book, The Struggle is Real from High School to Careers, a lot of people always ask me, How long did it take to write that book? And I would tell them like 5 years. I really don't know. I don't keep up. But 4 or 5 years, I just say 5 years to be on the safe side because I stopped writing the book. I started back writing the book. I stopped writing the book, and then when I got sick and went in for my spleen infarction, I came back and finished the book up back in, I think, I don't even remember what year that was. It was a long time after I graduated my PhD. Um, so I finished writing the book, and what I had to realize is that there was a lot of things that I needed to experience and go through to be able to include in that book because my whole thing is living a life in purpose. And so the purpose of my life is what I think it is to go through these struggles is not to be successful in corporate America. I don't think I will ever be successful in corporate America as far as a regular employee. And what I mean by that is going and work for somebody else and clocking in. I think I was meant to be an entrepreneur, a business owner, or whatever you want to call it. But I don't think I was meant to be in corporate America. I think that if that was my purpose, and if I wasn't looking for purpose and I was just set on being successful in corporate America, I could be successful and I would be successful in corporate America. But since I asked God and I continually ask God about purpose and what is my purpose, um, then I have to go through things that don't necessarily make sense and can be frustrating and confusing at times to me and to other people. And so, with that being said, I had to experience things like I would have never known about a severance package if I didn't work at Deloitte and we got laid off. And this guy that was on my team, he was talking to him, he got laid off as well, and he was saying how he went and negotiated his severance package. And I was like, oh, well, I didn't know that you could negotiate a severance package. My black ass was just gonna go in here and be happy that they gave me some money, letting me go because I've never experienced being either, typically I leave a job, but being laid off, that was my first time ever being laid off from a job. So I didn't really know or understand the concept behind a severance and how you get it and why you get it and that you can negotiate or you can't negotiate or how they calculate it and all that stuff. So there were just things that I still had to experience, and I think even still to this day, there are things that I'm still experiencing and learning so that I can share with my audience and the people who are going to be part of Career Insights 501 as far as my community and the followers that I will gain over the coming months and years. Um, so I think that, with that being said, when you ask God for something, know that things might not necessarily go the way that you plan or think that they should go. It's been a lot of getting a job, getting laid off, getting a job, getting laid off, working for a job for a short period of times. And, I guess the positive thing about that is it has given me time to reflect and work on my book and work on building my brand and, all these different types of things. But I got to say, it's rough when bills are due, when you have $2,000 rent, when you are buying your mom like a SUV and trying to help her out and supporting your mom and trying to support yourself and have somewhat of a leisure or social life. So it can be tough. Like I say, I don't live a very lavish lifestyle. I know a lot of people see me on trips and stuff, but a lot of those trips that I was going on were for work, and work was paying for those trips. So now that I'm not working, you're not going to see me in Vegas and Chicago and all these different places that you used to see me or that you saw me in, until things start back picking up. I've had to cancel a lot of trips this year because I just didn't have the money to buy a plane ticket or to get the hotel room. Travel is expensive. I wanted to go see Craig David. Had to give that ticket away. But just the sacrifices that come along with starting a business, wanting to help other people, wanting to have something for yourself, building something up from the ground up, it just takes a lot of work. Um, and it's another thing too. Something that I saw on social media, and I can't really quite remember what it said or Oh, it was Mark Zuckerberg talking about like your vision or your idea, and basically he was saying how, it isn't fully realized when you start it. So I guess you could use Facebook for example. So when Facebook first started, it was for people that I think it started with Harvard, then other Ivy League schools, and then it became open to college students. You could go on there and you can add your college courses and find people that were in the same college courses as you. They got rid of some of those things, but look what Facebook has become now. Facebook has integrated AI into its platform. And I know Mark probably wasn't thinking about that when he first started Facebook. Same thing with me. Just over the years, I have evolved Career Insight just from the branding, from the name. It was RUN, and I was trying to abbreviate that, and it was looking like ruin, and people saying like that's not like a good branding, is not a good name. And I was like, damn, like I really wanted to keep that. So then I went to like Official Insight because Career Insights, just that phrase was already taken and copyrighted, and I really didn't like that. So we ended up with Career Insights 501 as the name. So even the name has evolved over the years, and the I think the only thing that really remain consistent is the color scheme. So the primary colors like this royal cobalt-ish blue and then like a bright yellow. So those are the two primary colors, but those basically is the only thing that has remained the same with Career Insights 501 as far as the branding. But like the things that I want to do with this, like for me, my whole thing was, oh, I want to have this robot. So my logo, my little mascot is called Orby, Online Robot Buddy. And I wanted to have like this little technology digital ball or orb, and it would be a digital assistant. And now that we have AI, for me, that's looking more feasible as far as being able to take that and make that idea and turn it into a project or actual, excuse me, product. So other things that has been coming to me over the years, like working at Discover, I worked on a mentorship program that they did not appreciate. And so it's like, okay, so I can take that idea of the mentorship program and add it to Career Insights 501 as it evolves. I can take the idea of oh, it was something else, another idea. I have them all written down, y'all. But all these ideas that I've come up with at these jobs that they didn't appreciate, or they didn't implement, it's just like, okay, well, maybe this was just God's way of having me come up with ideas or things that I can incorporate into Career Insights 501. And just now, I don't want to be a social media influencer. And so that has been something that I've been struggling with and trying to find out how to make the company profitable and without having to get on social media and be like, hey guys, today I'm going to be talking to you all about adding action words in your resume at the beginning of each bullet point. Like I don't want to get on here and like be on 10 every time I get on the mic or behind the camera, because that's just not me. I'm just like a really chill, laid back type of person. And I don't want to get on here being fake. I think a lot of people, it's too much fakeness on to me on social media. Even like LinkedIn, I think LinkedIn is overly positive. And I will say that I did struggle as to whether or not I wanted to make this video and be transparent, because you know as people want something that is polished, they want something that's already done and completed. And I for me, I just want to be transparent and say, the information that I'm giving people is legit, but as far as building out this platform and this building, it's hell. Like I don't know everything. It's basically starting everything from scratch and learning everything along the way, um, as far as the business part of things and building out the brand or my specific brand. So hopefully, this doesn't end up biting me in the butt as far as getting on here and being that transparent. But like I was saying, I don't want to be a social media influencer, and so I get on social media and I post, and then my posts don't get the traction or the engagement that I want it to get. And I understand that I'm not really following the social media do's and don'ts to get that. And another thing about me is I'm not really a follower. So using, I ain't trying to be on here being a $1 million baby or a nasty girl every time you watch one of my videos. Like I don't want to have that music on my or included in my videos because I am going for a very specific theme as far as like building the brand. I want it to be futuristic. I'm really big into anime, neon lights. So when I get the opportunity and the chance to collaborate with a graphic designer and an artist, that's the whole thing that I want to go with. Is to make everything futuristic. So I'm doing everything on my Dollar Tree budget. With these lights and the LED lights that you see glowing behind me, I'm trying to keep it the theming of the books and stuff very clean. So that's what I'm going for, but that's gonna be something that's gonna be evolving until I get it to where I want it to be. So don't get too used to the look of the website and the social media sites right now. But again, don't want to be a social media influencer like at all. I'll leave that to you all. But things have been happening behind the scenes, and I've been meeting people and getting in kind of like um, getting information or places that I can look to figure out how to get my books and stuff out there. Another thing is about this. I think is a big thing. A big part of the journey is learning patience. So I will say that I am a person who wants things very quick when it comes to me, like on a personal level. Um, so I want it to be done like now, now, now. And these setbacks have really God has really taught me patience. I still got a little bit of ways to go, but God has really taught me patience over these past several years. And I think I'm, almost where I need to be when it comes to patience, but not quite there. I will honestly say that I'm still not quite there. So patience has been a big thing. And like I say, just working on all this stuff. And I think how do I want to phrase this? I don't necessarily think it's the patience, but the having me wait on things or for things to happen. And while I'm waiting, I am gaining understanding of the process or the journey that God has me on to get to my dreams or to achieve the things that I want to achieve. Because for me, it is really a personal thing. I don't like for me with career insights in the books, I'm not trying to charge a whole lot of money for the products or the services that I offer people because I really want people to get into careers that they enjoy or at the very least they know what to expect when they get into careers. So I want people when they come on my podcast or when I'm talking to people or whatever on my website, like the whole goal behind it is to be very truthful and transparent. So I don't want somebody to come on here and be like, "Oh, I love instructional design. We get to learn all these things and blah blah blah." No, instructional design to me, I'm just gonna say from my personal experience. Personally, I feel like it sucks if I just had s- to be honest. I think it's just one of those things with education. I think education is a very thankless job. Same thing with the instructional design. People don't really, appreciate the work that you put into the career. Um, I'm just gonna have to leave it at that before I start like saying too much about companies and people. But like instructional design it is cool depending on where you worked at. So when I worked at Disney, got to go on the cruise ship, got to go out to the park, stand in the ticketing booths, and listen to the cast members sell tickets to gather data about what are good selling methods and what are bad selling methods, and being able to come back and put that into our game that we were making. Went to a warehouse. We got a behind the scenes stuff at Animal Kingdom. We got a chance to do and see a lot of cool stuff there as an instructional designer to help us understand the products so that we could take that back and build a better training resource. That isn't necessarily the case in, I would say, most places. And I don't want to get into my career, but typically what you do is you get somebody saying, "Hey, here's a PowerPoint, here's some documents, here's some websites, so whatever. I want you to take this information and put it into an e-learning, and basically that's all you're doing." And so I want it to be, like I said, very authentic, and people to come in here and get into careers and understand that some of these careers you're gonna have to work overtime. You're gonna have to work weekends, like cybersecurity, because that is a big issue or a big field in technology, and they are short. Like the last I heard, almost a million people in the U.S. alone. I think it was like over 700,000 cybersecurity job postings open in America that needed to be filled. So a lot of people in cybersecurity, they're getting paid a lot of money, but they're having to work late. They're having to be on call. They have to work weekends. And so people don't really understand the nuances of jobs when they get into the career. So that's a big part of Career Insights 501. But I think that's it for this podcast. I don't want to stay on here too long and ramble on too much more. But again, just to sum it up, be careful or be prepared or be able to adjust to the path or the journey that God is taking you on when you are, I would say, truly living in purpose. And I'm not trying to act like I'm some biblical hero or somebody who's going to go out here and, do great things and change the world. I just want to add my own little, contribution to making the world a better place. But what I want to say is that I, f- in a sense, I feel like it's Moses or something because this journey ain't easy. And Moses had to do some crazy things and um see some crazy things and deal with a lot of crazy people. But the reward was worth it in the end, I guess. I don't know if it was worth it to Moses not. But you know what I'm saying? But so it can be a difficult path that you have to take. And it is lonely. I will say for me, personally, it's lonely because I don't really think a lot of people understand what I'm doing, what I'm trying to do. Going back to the Mark Zuckerberg thing, like you don't have it all figured out once you start it or have the idea because sometimes I don't have the the answer to what they're asking me for. So when I was trying to market the book, I was just doing a like this is helping high school students, go into college or figure out what they want to do or career alternatives. And the branding, and I would tell people it's for people who didn't have a lot of guidance or mentorships or a lot of understanding around college or alternative career and education options or the first couple of, going into corporate America. If they corporate novice, I guess I should say, I didn't have the branding or the right verbiage or nomenclature for that when I was creating it. So I got a bad review on Amazon for the book, and it was like, "This is fluff." Yeah, at first it did piss me off, but I was like, "Okay, I can see where this person is coming from with this review because my book really didn't make it clear. The back cover of the book or the description in Amazon really didn't make it clear that this was for people who don't have a lot of guidance or support in these areas. So that's something that I had to go back and update. And another thing that too, I keep saying I'm gonna stop, but is that during these lulls or these unemployment times or what's been happening is um I've been figuring it out. So AI ChatGPT has been a godsend for me. It's helped me out a lot with the marketing part of it. Um but creating my personal website, it gave me like this consulting section or this services offered session. I was like, oh, I can do this on my Career Insights website. Put like this is a service that I offer. Like it gave me these three things. I was like, this is perfect. And I can even take these prices and put these prices over here because they're, I think, reasonable. Um, and so it's just like these things. Like I want everything to happen right now, and I wanted like I said, I'm impatient, but by me growing in this journey of patience, or this endeavor of patience, um things have been made clear to me, and I've been given the answer to things that I didn't have the answer to before, or I just, been introduced to things that I didn't know or wouldn't have even thought about. I met with somebody and they was telling me to check with youth apprenticeship programs because I've been having such a hard time getting the book into schools. Um, and so I was like, oh, I didn't even know about that. Um, and so I will say again, not again, but let me just say the network is very, very important. Don't network with people who just look like you. Don't just network with people who are into the same things as you. A lot of people that I've been networking with are in tech, and I'm not necessarily in tech. My industry, I guess you could say, is education. And so the tech people have been really helpful and really, I think they're going to be really influential in the success of Career Insights in the long run. So, shout out to all my peeps at CompTIA because you all have really been helpful to me and just putting me on and with different people and the people that I've met through the different CompTIA events. Shout out to Rajiv. He's been really helpful to me in trying to get my name out there and just acting basically like a publicist. Like this guy has been really great as far as telling people about me in the book. Um, but that's it, you all. Hopefully you learn a little bit more about me and my journey and where I'm at and what I want to do with Career Insights. Hopefully this was a little helpful or inspirational to somebody who might be starting a business. And I don't know if you can take anything away from this besides, okay, I'm not the only person going through this. I know a lot of people post their little stories, but I feel like it's after they um, become successful. I know I'll become successful. I know Career Insights will have some level of success. I don't know what it is. And I say that in confidence because I really want to help people. And I've really been asking God for um purpose or to show me purpose. So um I know it. Like I feel it in my heart and soul, and it's coming every day, every week. I can see where this is going and how this can grow into something that is going to be great for a lot of different people. All these ideas that keep spawning in my head, and I honestly think is Career Insights 501 is going to be something huge. I think, you know, I don't want to say it's going to be something like LinkedIn. Um, and I say that only because I do basically everything by myself now. So I can't see it getting that big. That's just going to be something else that I have to learn and in a sense get over is keeping doing everything myself. But it's gonna be something that I'm gonna have to learn is like hiring the right people to help grow out this business because I've got big plans for Career Insights 501 as far as creating a digital assistant, as far as mentorship programs, as far as networking, as far as creating a job database, as far as creating something for people to go in here and do like a career profile. Trying to turn this into a lifestyle brand now is kind of what I want to. It's not kind of. It's like what I want to do with my social media aspect of Career Insights 501 now. So this is just some off the cuff idea that I came with a couple of days ago is turning Career Insights into a lifestyle brand in a sense as far as my social media profile goes is trying to make learning and being educated cool. So I have to figure that out, but again, it's just something else that is helping me. getting all these lovely gray hairs in my in my beard. But you all, I've talked enough. I rattled on enough, and this is Carlos signing out. And until next time, keep your dreams in sight and stay up and keep focused and keep pushing on and pursuing your dreams, and eventually you'll get there. In the words of a wise woman, if you believe in yourself and know, you're gonna make it happen. I'm out.